So, here is my scaling factor, derived from the Lorentz-like transformation I showed you. I need my ultra-speed v to evolve from 0 at t equals 0 to 1 at infinity. Notice that only the ultra-speed plays a role in the description of the metric, as derived from the covariant and contravariant components of the 4 position. However, the scaling factor includes the gamma factor of my universe, which allows for part of the expansion not to be accounted for in the metric itself. I know it is a bit late for disclaimers if you are watching up to this moment in the series, but I invite you to take my ideas lightly. This is my universe. It might become ours in the future, if the ideas can help scientists improve the way they are speaking about cosmology. Don't feel like you are wasting your time. Who knows, maybe you are watching that one series that will allow us to see science fiction movies that feature worlds where not only is there technological progress, but the scientists in the movie actually have their cosmology figured out completely. The disclaimer break is over. I will try to refund you for wasting your time by sharing my dreams through an AI voice. But let us be honest, if you are watching this, you are probably already wasting your time. If you are convinced of the opposite, just let me know in the comments. If you are a science fiction writer or involved in world-building projects, or you do know one, let me openly claim that this series might be useful for your next work. Grab a scientist by their PhD if you need some explanation. Feel free to do your creative work, but please, find a way to reach out. When the movie airs in theaters, I want to be invited to the premiere. Or even better, offer me a signed copy of your book. Maybe I need to create a goodies required license, or perhaps I will become an influencer if I do so, God forbid. If you chose to skip the previous chapter because you want the content to remain formal, what are you even doing here? In my universe, people do digress and they digress within the digression. With no anyway or whatever, here is the formula I chose for the ultra speed. A slow exponential curve that grows from 0 at time 0 to 1 at infinite time, and I will prolong it for negative time to explore the implications. In my universe, it makes sense to do so, and it will provide interesting ideas as we will see. The main issue that is first raised here is that while the speed decreases until a certain threshold, the expression under the square root will be negative, so this means that the scale factor will be imaginary. However, when we deal with the equation of state, and explore the behavior with respect to powers of the scaling factor, we will sometimes retrieve a real value, or perhaps use a modulus. The expression of the scaling factor has a parameter that just shrinks or lengthens the scale of time, so it is not that important in the immediate concern I have, which is to let you visualize the curve of the scaling factor. Just say, "Tada," in a dramatic way. I can't. I have the voice of an AI. Do you recognize the overall features this curve provides? A very sudden growth immediately followed by a deceleration phase, and later on, an accelerated expansion. I will let you appreciate how you have probably seen a similar curve all over the internet when learning about the Lambda CDM model. In my universe, we are not yet even speaking about the contents. At this point, we just got here by mathematically formulating Zeno's paradox for the evolution of our ultra speed. This looks good so far. I have a candidate that will prove useful later when we deal with the equation of state, and try to take a peek into the dominant periods of my universe. I need a way for my fellow scientists in my universe to derive something akin to Hubble's law theoretically, and that will involve covariant derivatives and the connection coefficients. Feel free to pause to collect them, or I will perhaps link the code that I used in the tool WX Maxima, so that you can enjoy playing around with it and get to follow along or put my results to the test. I am not a scientist in that I am not dealing with the real world, but I care about mathematics and about my universe enough so that I am doing my best to be consistent with my assumptions, while making sure I have rigorously shown everything upstream. I leave you with pointers to the implications so that the content is easy for you to explore and easy for me to deliver. As the series unfolds and your comments start flowing in, my next task will be to provide an appendix series based on your requests, which I will hopefully meet. Back to my universe experiencing Hubble's law. A simple covariant derivative of the radial component along the time component involves only gamma 101, the others being null. And my Hubble parameter happens to be half what the FLRW metric universe obeys. It is still unclear why my assumptions made it so this factor of 1/2 appears. I will leave you with this. Don't forget to let me know if you want more material as you watch, like the code to solve the problem or a more detailed tour of the results I am sharing here. I will collect your requests as I schedule the next uploads and make a plan to fulfill the ones I can deal with.